Hey guys, this is Aisha Shelton.
And this is Kevin Shelton.
Welcome back to Marriage and Real Estate.
Episode 9.
Episode 9.
Why buy the cow when the milk is free? So, if it's your first time checking us out, welcome to Marriage and Real Estate, where we navigate partnership and prosperity. We typically start off with a marriage topic, and then we go into a real estate or business topic. So, for this week, we're starting off with the marriage topic. For all of our couples out there who aren't yet married, maybe you're in a long-term relationship, maybe you're just dating, but you're interested in growing together. So we're going to talk about how you start off on the right foot, set your relationship up for success, whether that's family planning or financial planning. How do you get everything taken care of before you even pay for the wedding?
And for the business topic, we'll be discussing investing without directly owning property. So, how to get the tax and financial benefits from being a real estate investor without the headache of being a landlord or actually starting a real estate business.
And then at the end, we'll throw in our book recommendations and audience questions. So tune in and we're going to kick it off. You ready?
Let's go.
All right. So for this week, I know why buy the cow when the milk is free is like old. I guess it's like old folks saying. People like, oh girl, don't, let that guy buy the cow when the milk is free or whatever. Isn't that what they say?
No.
Why buy the cow? No. Okay, I'm saying that wrong. Anyway, basically it means get something for nothing, right? So we use that as the title because we wanted to talk about a lot of couples out there they want the benefits of marriage or the benefits of that relationship without doing that front end work of making sure that you're set up for success. So I know we have a lot of friends or a lot of people we know who are buying cars or buying things together. Maybe that's a vacation trip or a timeshare or something. And you haven't started the process off of planning your financial future with your mate.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is everything's great when it's all great. And then when it goes bad, now what do you do? Now how do you break apart all these things that you've bought with this person that you don't necessarily have any ties with?
And one of us learned from experience. We won't say who, but one of us learned from experience that you don't want to be giving the milk, when the cow's not bought.
When the cow ain't bought.
No.
So, being in a relationship is a big decision when it comes to formalizing it through marriage or even large purchases. So you don't want to buy a house with somebody or buy a car with somebody and you don't have anything planned out to know, okay, what happens when. So we want to give you guys some tips and tricks on how you can avoid some of the pitfalls that we've made. Not saying no names. As well as just some general advice on how to start off on the right foot. So one of the first things I wanted to talk about is starting off with a plan for your relationship. And I know we've talked about planning before, but you can't do too much planning. So I wanted to go back into it and talk about how to set expectations. So literally, you're in a relationship, you and somebody are just dating. How do you say, hey, maybe 5 years down the road, I want to buy a house, or 2 years down the road, I'm going to move to Seattle with this job. It's setting those expectations early so each of you know where you're going.
And I think we could kind of share like how we planned and what plans we made when we were dating that kind of brought us to this point.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I know that I was very much. I've always been a planner. That's my skill. So when we originally dated, I wasn't planning to be in a relationship. So for me, I had my own goals. I had my own agenda set. I planned to be working in a particular field, working in a construction field professionally. I had already built up my career. I knew I wanted to graduate from school. I wanted to get a job, maybe do some traveling and purchase a home and just the things that I wanted to do. But nowhere in that plan was partner with the person.
Yeah, and I don't think I had a plan at that point myself. I think I was just trying to figure life out. And so Kevin, being the good planner that he is, he came to the relationship with the plan. So I think together we came together and made a plan that fit for us. That was a dream or goals that reflected who we were as a couple.
Which was important, right? I think that once you decide that you are going to be together and you take it seriously, that's when the planning process begins, and that's when you start to put it together. So our first tip for couples is to definitely set your expectations up front and give your plan up front. Let somebody know where you see your life, where you see yourself going, so that you know you're not wasting your time and that other person isn't wasting their time, and that you are building something greater than just, weekend dates.
Yeah, because the beginning of the relationship is super honeymoon, right? Like, you're enjoying each other's company, you enjoy spending time with each other. But one of the things that we forget to talk about is like, hey, do you want kids? Because my dream life might be without children and traveling the world with our friends, and your dream life may be, being a mom or a dad and going to baseball practice. And so those are just really valuable things that you want to hash out before you get the warm and fuzzies about a person, because one of the things you don't want to do is try to fit your life, your ideal life, into somebody else's.
What do you call that? Round peg, square hole, square peg, round hole.
Square peg, round hole. Don't do it.
And see, the thing about it, and that's a good segue into the family planning part about it, is that directly affects whatever your future looks like. If one person wants to go travel the world and the other person wants to be at home with babies, those are two different lives, and y'all might not make sense to be together. So before you buy that baby, or before you get what comes from that, it's important that you know what you want, what you don't want, and that y'all actually are working off a plan together, even when you're dating. And it could be a simple plan. It could be okay, we're dating for right now. What are our 6 month goals? What are our 9 month goals? What are we building towards together, even temporarily? Because that's the stepping stone to a longer term relationship.
Yeah.
So what about like some of the things financially couples need to do before they invest in a wedding or invest in the marriage part of that, the engagement part of that?
One of the things that we did that I think was essential was we sat down and we looked at what each of our personal financial situations looked like. What kind of debt did I carry? What kind of debt did he carry? And what will be the plan for that? So when we knew that we wanted to get married, we also wanted to be realistic about our wedding budget and the debt that we had, right? So we made a plan for our debt, and we also made a plan for the wedding. So we began paying for the wedding, a year and a half? A year and a half in advance, because...
so that when we got to the wedding day, we didn't have a bill, we could enjoy the day.
We did.
And I know a lot of couples who do finances a lot of different ways than we do, and people got, houses together and children together, and they don't know what each other's student loan balance is. They don't know what each other's credit score is. And for us, that doesn't make sense. And the best advice we can give somebody is you want to know the total financial picture of your partner before you invest in a wedding or a ring or children, because that directly affects your future and what your financial aptitude looks like going forward.
And listen, in this day and age, you need to know what that student loan balance is.
For real?
I'm just saying, because
your loan's my loan.
Your loans are definitely my loans. And there is no, people have separate bank accounts and they're like, oh, that's his money and this my money. Listen, when you get married, his student loan is your student loan. So when y'all trying to buy a house and they're evaluating your financial situation and buddy got $272 in student loan debt, that's going to affect
$272 to $272,000.
$272,000. Thank you. $272,000 in debt. That's gonna affect y'all's ability to buy a home. So there is no me and you. There's definitely a us, and it just makes sense. And I don't know, we just don't think about this. It just makes sense to cover those bases before you get hitched.
And before you get engaged, honestly, that's something that you need to do while you're dating, because if the person that you looking to build this life for, if you have no debt, you got an A1 credit, and you got $10,000 in savings, and this other person got a 400 credit score and negative 300,000 in the bank, and they're coming with all these obstacles to overcome, that's going to create friction for you later in the relationship. It might be all hot and heavy in every single other area of your relationship, but if the lights are off, or you can't buy that home, or you can't afford that car that you worked so hard for, that's definitely going to put a damper on you in the other areas of your relationship.
And that's not to say that if one person has a really good financial picture and the other person doesn't have a good financial picture, that y'all can't be together. Because if the two of you want to be together, you can make that work too. You make
just
a
gotta
plan,
know. Yeah,
right?
you just gotta
Here
make
we
a
are
plan.
back at the plan. You make a plan for what that's going to look like. Like, okay, girl, we're going to be together. I'm going to help you pay your bills off.
I mean, people do it. People
do that. We've heard that before. I've heard that before. Like, oh man, her situation was bad, so I had to help her to get to where...
I went on ahead and bit the bullet.
Yeah. I had to help her get to where we needed to be, because, I mean, if you know you want to be with her, or you know you want to be with him, now listen, I am not recommending that you go pay off somebody's student loans.
Y'all better be real committed.
Listen, be careful. Now I just want to retract everything I said. Be very wary of paying off somebody's bills and student loans before you marry. I don't know. Okay, now I'm confused.
Even when you're married, it might be. Make sure you're on the same page with your partner.
Oh God.
And make sure that you guys are working on a vision together. Because if one person's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna grind hard and I'm gonna pay off our student loans, and another person like, as soon as you pay them off, I'm out the door.
Or make sure there's equal skin in the game, right? Like, don't be the only one sacrificing to make the situation better. Like, there's something that everybody can do. So if homegirl got a lot of debt and you saying you're agreeing to help her pay it off, she need to get a second job or something.
She need to sacrifice some nights and weekends.
And let's not be sexist. He or she needs to make he or she needs to make some kind of sacrifice. So make sure don't be a fool, people, with that.
Well,
that would be
once
bad.
You get past that,
okay,
and you are planning for that wedding. Like Aisha said, she talked a little bit about our journey. So we started planning for our wedding even before we were engaged, because we had a plan and we knew that we wanted to be married. We wanted to have children together. We had our wedding venue picked out. We had it reserved, paid deposits. And what I did was I made a 16-month plan where essentially every single month I paid something towards our wedding day. And that was several thousands of dollars. So I made sure that we budgeted accordingly and we worked together to achieve that. So if you're planning that big day, it's not just one day and you get a bill in the mail. It's everything that leads up to it. Guys, if you're planning to buy a ring, you can work out terms with your jewelers. You can go and negotiate so that you can make payments well in advance before you drop that big check off for that ring. So you just want to plan, and then work the plan in order to get to that big day. And then you can have the wedding of your dreams without the stress, because you don't want to get married and the first thing you got is a $40,000 bill. Now you got to pay off, or credit card bills that you got to pay off. So you want to make sure that it can be a happy day. It can be an amazing engagement. It can be an amazing honeymoon because you adequately planned in advance. And that's actually the best way to get deals, because we got amazing deals because we were so far in advance. Like literally we rented out an entire floor of suites at the hotel that we had a room block for our wedding. And it was only because it was so far in advance. Like literally when we got married, the lady at the counter was like, how did you even get these deals with these rooms? But it was so far advanced they couldn't see what the year was going to look like. But I could see that I was getting married that weekend.
Yeah.
So yeah. True. Well, now we're jumping into the real estate topic of the week. So, how do you invest in real estate without owning any property? How do you do that, Aisha?
So We've bought several lots in a particular area here in Houston, and what we found is that those lots are owned by a group of people who pooled their money together to purchase those lots at a very low price point, and then they are reselling them. So they were purchasing in the path of progress, and now they're selling those lots at a much higher
At a
rate.
substantial gain. So I'm talking about like buying something for $5,000, selling it for $40,000.
Yeah.
But it was because they pulled their resources to do it. So essentially what we're saying is one of the strategies you can use to participate in real estate is partnership. It's to partner together with other people. So if you and 5 of your friends, or if 3 couples want to get together and say, hey, well, we only have $10,000 each, or we only have $5,000 each, you can pool your money together to purchase something or be a part of something. And that's one of the ways that you can invest in real estate without owning any real estate.
And this particular group of people, if I'm correct, they're all professionals, medical professionals,
Doctors,
dentists,
lawyers,
doctors,
yeah.
lawyers. So their professions are demanding, time consuming, and they don't have time to learn how to flip a house, probably don't even care about how to flip a house or build a house, but they do understand the value of investing in real estate and how it helps you to build wealth. And so just remember that you don't have to be an active real estate investor with your hands in dirt to invest in real estate.
No, 1,000%. I think another way to do that is also syndication, which is essentially just a larger partnership. So there's several organizations. We do syndications. It's just a form of a very large pool. So it's several, 10, 20, even 100 investors investing in a property. And it's one of the larger ways that people invest in multifamily. So I know a lot of people say, oh, well, I want to invest in real estate, but I don't want to be a landlord. I don't want to get calls in the middle of the night. I don't want to deal with toilets. I've never even bought a house. How could I own a rental property? And it seems like a big, scary task. So in that regard, you can partner with an organization that purchases real estate, and you can just get a return. And you still get all the tax benefits. You still get the financial power of real estate without having the worry of answering that phone call at 4 a.m.
And here's the thing, the power of time, right? So you've heard about compound interest and don't. You heard about compound interest, and you've also heard about just how the earlier you invest, the better your investment turns out in the future. And so some people like to use the fact that they don't have time, or I'm really busy, or I don't have time to learn about that as a reason not to get involved in real estate. And take heed to this, that now is the time. Don't wait, because you'll wait today and you'll look up and it'll be 5 years later, and somebody will have invested in real estate and they'll have made some significant gains, and you're like, man, we just talked about that, or we talked about that 5 years ago,
and we see that all the time.
We still haven't done anything. And so it doesn't have to be like, oh, I gotta find a project, oh, I have to find a good deal. Start investing now, and learn as you go, but don't miss out on this opportunity to increase your wealth through real estate by waiting until the right time.
And I mean, you also want to invest in your education as well. I just want to put a disclaimer out there. We are not investment professionals. We are not attorneys. We're not CPAs. We are not CPAs. We are marriage and real estate advocates. Mm-hmm. So we're not saying go out, just any Joe Blow doing real estate, invest with them. We're saying educate yourself on the market, educate yourself on real estate, listen to these resources that we put out to start the process of beginning your journey in real estate. But definitely participate in real estate, because that's how you grow your wealth over the long haul. But yeah, I think that's a way that you can tackle real estate without taking the risk head on, or you can tackle real estate without you yourself being responsible to produce the deal or manage the deal or build it. There's just a lot of different ways that you can participate without being the major participant.
Another sexy topic these days is opportunity zones and the tax benefits of opportunity zones. And so I won't go into very much detail about it, but just be aware of the tax benefits that come from investing in underserved communities and how, if that's a passion of yours, how you can give back to those communities while still maximizing your tax
returns,
advantages. Yeah.
And I mean, for us, we invest heavily in opportunity zones. We make sure that we're directing our dollars in the path of progress, but also building our urban communities. I'll talk briefly about one of our first opportunity zone deals that we're currently working on, which is a multifamily unit apartment building that's actually a partnership. So we partnered with somebody to bring this deal together. They own the deal. They were already partners. We brought the construction to the table. We brought our investment partners to the table to get the deal done. And when that deal is finished, that long-term gain, that long-term investment is in an opportunity zone. So our property appreciates tax-free. The capital gains that we make from the renovation of this property or the equity that we're creating is tax-free. It's captured tax-free because it's in an opportunity zone. And that's one of the strategies that we use that's available to you. I mean, all of you.
And I think we said this, but just to say it another way, partnering with other people, right? So maybe you have the capital and you know somebody who has the know-how, you know a contractor, or you know a company that takes investments from people. That's another way to get involved in real estate as well. So you may be the one who is the investment partner, and you don't bring any physical work to the table, but you partner with a contractor and he does the work of rehabbing the houses and that kind of thing. So there's so many different ways to be an active investor, but not actively, use your
be
hands.
An active investor, but not have to actively participate in the investment.
Yes.
There we go. So just to recap, on the relationship side, make a plan. Don't get off to get in the milk without knowing what you're buying when you buy the cow.
And that goes both.
Don't buy a cow with negative $200,000 in student loans.
You can buy a cow with negative $200,000, but love that cow and help that cow get out of this situation.
Don't pay off the cow's student loans.
Do not pay. I know somebody who did that though. Student loans, like paid off their student loan, but they were married, so that's different, and it didn't work out. But
hey, man,
she did that.
Hey, look. I'm looking for a sugar mama to pay off my student loans. Aisha, I got an application for you.
I got you, boo. I'm going to pay off your student loans.
There we go. I flued out
student loans. What's up? If he not paying off your student loans, what is he doing? Really? What is he doing? No, but honestly, truly, plan in advance. Make a plan. Again, it's great if you're both on the same page financially. It's great if you both bring assets or positive equity into the relationship, but if you don't,
you can still figure it
out. Yeah.
Yep. And on the real estate side, don't think that you have to do everything yourself. Don't think that you have to have all the answers to invest in real estate. It's all about your network, who you partner with, not being afraid to participate without being the main participant, and you can still get all the benefits of real estate without owning a single property or without you fixing toilets or answering the phone at 2 a.m. You can still be a real estate investor. All you have to do is seek it out and partner with people to bring that to reality.
Yeah, find somebody who knows more about it than you do and partner with them.
Yeah. So, book recommendations.
Ooh, is that a song?
No. I don't know what that is. So this week for our marriage book, what do we have?
He's so excited about these books. They better be good.
The New Rules of Marriage by Terrance Real. So this is actually a book that my grandmother gave us when we got married. And she was like, oh, y'all got to read this book. This book is amazing. And my grandmother is not married.
She has been.
That's true. She's been married a couple times. But it nevertheless was a fantastic book. So this book just talks about how to go into a marriage with a plan, right? How to identify your wants and needs, how to listen, some of the techniques that you use to communicate with one another, how to set boundaries, how to stand up for yourself, how to make sure that you're actually getting your needs communicated and met in your relationship, right? How to give grace and appreciate your partner. And then how to find resources outside of your relationship when you can't figure it all out. But it's an amazing book. It definitely set a template in our marriage to say, okay, here's some tools that we use still to this day, 3 years in. And it was a great book. So thank you, Dr. Simon, for the recommended read.
Appreciate
and
that.
For all you guys out there, we will have an Amazon link in the bio. And going forward, you can find a link to all these books. We'll have the Audible link up and the Amazon link up. So for those of you who want to purchase the paperback, or those of you who want to listen to the book, please use our referral codes. It helps support the podcast. So thank you so much.
Totally.
And then for our business book for the week, it's The Wealthy Habits.
Wealthy Habits. So
by Tom Corley.
Tom Corley is the author of this book, and he spent 5 years interviewing 233 wealthy people about their habits. And then he also interviewed 128 people who made less than $35,000 a year. So he studied people who were wealthy, and he studied people who were below the poverty line.
Not so wealthy.
Okay, that. And it shows the differences between those two groups. And so I just feel like when you know better, you do better. And you don't have to reinvent the wheel to wealth. We don't have to reinvent the wheel to wealth. The people who have done it and are doing it well, you just do what they do. And the people who aren't doing it well, you do what they don't do. So a few of those things are like the amount of time that they watch television and the amount of books that they read per year. All of those things affect your wealth. So if you're a heavy television watcher, that's great, but it affects your wealth. If you hate reading, I remember saying this in middle school, we gotta read, If you don't like reading, you need to learn how to like reading, because all wealthy people read books.
It's a funny story. So the richest people in the world, the minimum yearly book list is about 60 books a year. So when I originally ramped up my book list, the reason I got to reading 70 books a year is I said, if I want to be wealthy like the top 1% of the world, what does it start with? What costs me nothing? And that's reading. So if they're reading 60 books a year, and I didn't come from a silver spoon, I'm not starting off with a small loan of $10 million from my daddy. So I need to catch up. So I started off with 70 books a year because that's my way to close that gap in information. And in the words of the great Jim Rohn, a book can save you 5 years. A book can cut your learning curve and your time down. Learn from other people's mistakes instead of learning from your own. So I'm a big proponent of reading, hence why we have the book recommendation segment. But I think that learning from those who are where you want to be is the fastest way for you to get there. So fantastic book.
Really great book. And just to share a few surprising things, I think there'll be a few things that you'll be surprised about, but one of them was like balance transfers. So you know how you get those
credit card
solicitations in the mail about a promotion to transfer your balance to a new credit card? So 0% of the rich do a balance transfer to a new credit card, and 87% of the poor transfer balances to a new card. That's just interesting.
I mean, let the statistics stand for themselves, right?
Yeah, let the statistics stand for themselves. So definitely a book that you should pick up as a couple. You should read it together so that you both can have wealthy habits.
Yep. So that's our wrap up for this week. We don't have any questions for this week, but we do want to talk briefly about something we promote out to everybody on our Go Live. which is Marriage and Real Estate Society. So for all of you looking to get more involved, looking to participate in real estate, looking to build with your partner and start navigating these waters and grow your prosperity, we've created Marriage and Real Estate Society, which is going to be a monthly meetup, not only physically in person here in Houston, Texas, but also online, as well as a private online community where it's all about your growth, right? It's about you having accountability and you having the ability to share your journey, as well as get feedback and partner with other people. Learn more about real estate, more about your relationship, and grow your wealth, as well as your partnership with us here at the Marriage and Real Estate Podcast.
Yeah.
So we look forward to seeing you guys. The link is in all of our social media bios now, as well as in the tagline of this podcast. So please sign up. August 1st is the first meeting. We look forward to seeing you guys online. We look forward to seeing you guys here in person. And we can't wait. So Marriage and Real Estate, episode 9. We out.
We out.